This is The World Today weekend on CKNW News Talk 980. Once again, here's Sean Leslie.
Well, Immigration Minister Jason Kenney announced on Monday that new Canadians will no longer be able to shield themselves behind a face covering when taking their oath of citizenship. The rule means, effective immediately, Muslim women will be required to remove their niqabs, burqas, or other veils before becoming a Canadian citizen. Not surprisingly, this decision has renewed controversy and discussion over the face coverings and their place in Canadian society. Great couple of guests to talk about this. I'm joined by Kashif Ahmed, National Board Member of the Canadian Council on American Islamic Relations. Mr. Ahmed, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Also joined by Tariq Fatah, founder of the Muslim Canadian Congress. Mr. Fatah, thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you for having me.
Now, Mr. Ahmed, I'll start with you. Just your basic reaction to this decision by the federal government. Do you support what they're doing or not?
I'd like to make a few important points. First off,
feel free.
No, CAIR-CAN, as a civil rights organization, is not in favor of the ban. This issue really is not about the face veil or the niqab. We can all agree that the face veil is something very unusual for most Canadians. However, this is about whether we as Canadians are willing to let the state, that is the government, dictate what clothes people can wear and essentially infringe upon personal rights and freedoms. So essentially, at the end of the day, this is a core issue of civil rights. What Minister Kenney is doing is only questioning the sincerity of these small group of women. Let's take a look at what happens at a citizenship ceremony. Everyone's ID and identification is checked before they're allowed to enter the courtroom where they take the oath. Women who wear niqab already show their faces to identify themselves prior to taking the oath. There are dozens of people taking the oath at a time, and the citizenship judge cannot see if everyone is pronouncing every word of the oath. Some people don't even speak English or French. So what Mr. Kenney is doing is only questioning the sincerity of these very tiny group of women who have already passed the requirements to become a Canadian citizen. They've written an exam that tests their knowledge about Canada, and yet they're now being singled out, which is discriminatory, for no apparent reason other than that the government doesn't like the face veil. Let's take a look at what Mr. Kenney said on Monday. He based his reasons on 3 reasons. 1, he personally believes that the niqab is not religious. 2, he felt the niqab is against the values of Canada. 3, he said the judges may not be able to hear the oath. With all due respect to the minister, these statements are the very reason, and as a lawyer, I would know why this ban would be considered a violation of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. All Canadians, including your other guest, should take the time to learn about the laws of our great country. And according to long-standing law, an individual's religious practice is protected by law if that individual sincerely feels it is connected to religion, regardless, this is a very important point, regardless of whether the practice is required by a religious authority or scripture.
It's whether they firmly believe that it is a religious requirement.
As long as the practice does not harm someone else.
Interesting. Tariq Fatah, yes, I appreciate your thoughts. Tariq Fatah, your thoughts on this?
Well, this has got nothing to do with religion or Canadian law. This is a face mask. This is not a dress. This is what people wear when they have to hold up banks. People wearing burqas have held up jewelry stores. They've escaped from Heathrow Airport under the nose of security. This is what Osama bin Laden and Mullah Umar wore when they had to escape the NATO troops. And for anyone to suggest, honestly, by looking at themselves in the mirror and say that this is a religious edict, is trying to make a fool of them, of the general public. Now, they can fool the white liberal, guilt-ridden journalists who have no idea what they're talking about. They can't fool us who have come from parts of the world where this horrendous, ghastly attire has been forced upon women. There are 2 categories. One, women who are forced to wear this, and the other woman who adopt this to show a middle finger to Western civilization. Any woman who's come there in the citizenship court if she believes in the doctrine that tells her not to cover her face, then she cannot take the oath anyway, because it is against that same doctrine that says you cannot swear oath to a non-Muslim sovereign. Now, your other guest knows it very well, the whole notion that in Canada, a number of Boy Scout troops have been told that they have to change the Scouts' promise and delete references to the Queen. We also know that it is not just these women, but a whole lot of other people who have mumbled through the oath and who have absolutely no desire to have anything to do with the values of this country or to Western civilization, and who are using the passport primarily as a traveling document, or for them to go back to Lebanon or Pakistan or Egypt or wherever they have to go and use our country's education system or the healthcare services.
Well, that seems to be a big leap from citizenship oath here, Mr. Fattah. And
we've got 50,000 people in Lebanon who had to be rescued. Where do you think they came from?
No, I understand that, but we're talking about a citizenship oath, and as Mr. Ahmed has said, these women have already had to show their face to get other forms of ID.
So what is the problem then?
Well, Mr.
That's
Fattah,
the hypocrisy.
can I say something?
Here's the issue. Now that you asked me a question, let me answer it. These women have absolutely no problem showing their faces. For organizations like CAIR that are linked to Islamist ideology, that have been funded in the American headquarters by the Saudis, their agenda is the Muslim Brotherhood agenda.
Well, wait a second. Kashif Ahmed, please jump in here, because we're getting a little field here.
This is the same old lines that Mr. Fattah uses when he can't realize that this is not Saudi Arabia, this is not Iran, where the government bans.
Let's let Mr. Ahmed talk, please, Mr. Fattah.
Money from the Saudis.
Let's Mr. Ahmed.
Mr. Fattah, we're not in a mosque where you can shout over me.
Let's let Mr. Ahmed talk
don't use that to me. You are the people who use the mosque.
Sean,
you receive money from Saudi Arabia.
Tariq Fattah, please. I want to hear what Kashif has to say here.
No, then you have to not interrupt me, sir.
Don't be childish. Come on, you're on the air. Calm down.
Stop about it. You folks hate this country.
Sean.
You support Sharia law. You have thumbed your nose at this country. You use women as
Mr. Fattah, we only have a few moments for this segment, so I do want to hear what Kashif has to say here.
Let's take a look at the issue itself, Sean. It doesn't matter about my opinion or Mr. Fattah's opinion or Mr. Kenny's opinion about the niqab. This is not some foreign country where the state dictates what people can
absolutely
wear.
Dictates.
Okay,
come on.
And we have freedoms and personal rights. What Mr. Fattah is trying to say is that because he believes that the niqab is not someone's religious right, it should not be accorded to them. The fact of the matter is, our laws are in complete...
Your laws?
Your laws? The country's
you have contempt for Canada, and you're saying...
I was born here unlike you, okay? So I know the laws. So
you can fool all the journalists that you want.
Well, yeah, I'm interested what he has to say, Mr.
Well, then you shouldn't have called me, sir. You didn't tell me that there was another guest on air. You called me and you wanted to listen to my perspective.
I do. I want both your perspectives. Yes.
Sorry?
But I'd like a discussion and not yelling at each other here.
No, I'm sorry. I don't like this white guilt that is thrust upon me by pandering to those who look like Muslims. We know that CAIR is a co-conspirator in a terror trial in the United States.
Mr. Fattah, you have to calm down
not even
and
question
stop making false accusations against anyone.
Why? Are you not a co-conspirator?
Actually, Mr. Fattah, no, we're not. We're CAIR-CAN.
Are you serious?
Yes. Did
you
know that?
Me?
Yes,
the entire Texas trial was about your association with the Muslim Brotherhood.
Mr. Fattah, you're throwing around false accusations. If you want to have a conversation about
you're the lawyer. Come on, sue me then.
Mr. Fattah, before I have to wrap this up, short and simple, you would like to see the burqa banned in Canada, is that correct?
No, what I'd like to see is honest journalism, where when you talk to a guest, you don't set a trap for him to undo your own white guilt.
Oh, my God.
All right, well, Mr. Fattah, we'll leave it there for you, Mr. Ahmed. I certainly did not mean to booby-trap you or anything. My understanding was you both understood that it would be a joint presentation here. Mr. Ahmed, last word to you, sir.
Yes, in general, I think we can all tell from today's conversation that there's no having a civil conversation with some people in this country. Nonetheless, what we need to see is that we all get really concerned when the government or the state is trying to infringe upon personal rights. And at this time, the government is taking measures which are very concerning, that is targeting a very small, tiny segment of the Muslim women's population, because many women don't even wear the headscarf, the vast majority, and don't wear the niqab. So we're concerned about that, and the unsubstantiated allegations that Mr. Fattah throws around, because he had a very troubling life in Saudi Arabia and in Pakistan, so we can understand where he might be coming from. But this is Canada, and we have a different system. We have a democratic system, and we're hoping in the future that the government will take a better look at this issue and really question whether or not it's going to serve the interests of all Canadians.
Mr. Ahmed, got to leave it there. Thank you for your time. We'll take a quick break here on CKNW News Talk 980.